Hey everybody, my name's Tony Beers, and this is
Russ
and Jay.
And this is Movie Grades, and in this episode of Movie Grades, we're going to give our top 5 best movies of 2016. My 5th best movie of 2016 is, and I know Russell doesn't like this one, XMen Apocalypse. And I really like this movie. I think it's a great ending to the second X-Men trilogy. It's really good. I like the characters. I will admit that I do have problems with it. That's why it's my number 5 and not higher on the list. For example, a lot of the characters are way underdeveloped, such as Psylocke, Angel, Jubilee, again, has no screen time or doesn't show her powers at all, but there is a lot of great moments in it, and even though people who hate it like the Quicksilver moment, would you agree?
To a point.
There is a great scene with Wolverine. There's the ending battle was fantastic. There's a very good character development with Magneto. He has a great story arc in here. He has a great scene with him and his family. I assume that this is going to be the last X-Men movie in this type of way. They'll probably make more Deadpool movies. This is probably the last one because I don't think this movie did very well. It didn't do very well critically, but I had fun with it. I enjoyed it quite a bit. The characters, the story, special effects, and like I said, it fits very well with First Class, Days of Future Past, and this one here, which would be Apocalypse, and I think it ends it very well. And one can go from this movie and easily go into the first X-Men movie, kind of the way the prequels tie into Star Wars movie. That's about all I can say about it.
My 5th best movie, and this was a hard list for me because I like all these movies on my list, but I'm going to have to put Kung Fu Panda 3 at the bottom because this movie was phenomenal. First of all, I think this was the best of the Kung Fu Panda series. They just got better and better. I enjoyed this movie a lot, and just thinking about it now, it brought a lot of visuals back that were really well done. And I'm going to tell you this, both DreamWorks films from last year are both on my list. I think DreamWorks is doing a wonderful job of doing quality over quantity, unlike some other production. Disney had a bunch of movies last year, and I'm talking about Disney overall. I'm talking about CGI and live action. And some were hit and miss with those. And now we will move on to our number 4.
We'll start with Russ.
We'll start with you, Russ.
Okay, my number 4 is Finding Dory. I remember Finding Nemo comes out and I was like, oh my god, this is the greatest thing. How have you not seen this? I saw it and I'm like, seriously? This was awful. I thought it was such an insult to my intelligence it wasn't even funny. So I'm like, okay, Finding Dory really has to turn this around. Now, admittedly, a lot of critics have said about Finding Dory it wasn't really a necessary sequel. And I do agree with that. It wasn't necessary. But the thing is, you don't need a movie to be necessary for it to still be good. As we mentioned with a certain other movie from 2016 where the movie wasn't necessary, but in my opinion it wasn't even good when it wasn't necessary. If you're going to do something that's not necessary, at least make it good so you can say, hey, I'm at least glad I spent that time watching it. And Finding Dory definitely did that. I thought the humor was much better. I thought most of the stuff that I found incredibly annoying with Finding Nemo was replaced with far better stuff in the sequel. Just in general, I just had a lot of fun with it. There was one scene I was laughing my ass off, and that, I can tell you, did not happen with Finding Nemo, so great job to Finding Dory. Next up,
Finding Dory is my number 4 spot on this list as well. I enjoyed the movie very much so. Finding Nemo I saw and I enjoyed it, but Finding Dory I enjoyed a lot more. I liked that whale shark. I really liked Ellen DeGeneres as Dory. I like Hank. Hank was funny because played by Ed O'Neill, and I love Ed O'Neill for Married with Children. Marlon was good, played by the original voice actor
Albert Brooks.
I just like how they did the iteration about how I know in the first movie it was those seagulls, but in this movie they had the seals, and the seals were funny. She was trying to find her parents. That was the gist of the movie. It kind of gets grim where you think her parents were knocked off, but she does find her parents at the end, so it did turn out to be a happy ending. Yeah, I enjoyed it. On to you, Tony, with your number 4, 4th place.
My number 4 is Star Trek Beyond. I really like this movie, and like my fifth spot, I have problems with it, of course. The biggest problem, and you addressed this, Russell, is that you don't know what the villain is really up to until the very end. But then more I thought about, it felt more like we were with the crew in that way, and that they didn't know what was going on either. So as they're finding out, we're also finding out.
I liked how the crew was split up into two different people, and what made it very interesting was two different people who you didn't think would be together, like Bones and Spock, Chekhov and Kurt. You know, you would never see that combination.
A lot of the characters are kind of like opposite of each other. Well, especially Spock and Bones. And personally, for me, their conflict was the best. They played off each other so well. There was humor in it, and there was a lot of action in it, and the special effects were good. The only special effects I didn't like was the aliens in the beginning. They trick you into thinking they're really big, but they end up being really small. The CGI wasn't so great on them. Is this, what, 75th anniversary of Star Trek?
50th.
50th.
Well, I was way off on that. So they had 50 different new aliens races in this. I thought that they were so creative with the makeup they used. There's a fun scene in there. They bring back the song Sabotage, which I thought was really fun. So it's just a really enjoyable time at the movies.
My number 3 is Kung Fu Panda 3. Thanks to Jay, you pretty much already know everything about it, because he just told you the entire movie. Now, I know he said they get better and better. Firstly, I thought the first and second movies were both just as good as each other, but in their own way. This one took it to a next level, which I really enjoyed. Basically, a lot of things that happened in the first one were very thoroughly explained in this one to bring it full circle. And yes, he meets his father, played by Bryan Cranston in this one, which I thought was fantastic. I love the village of the pandas, and the way he teaches the pandas in the village to once again be the fighters that they once were. I thought it was fantastic. In fact, towards the end, I was actually getting very emotional, and when a movie can do something like that for me, I know it's definitely doing something right. I found it inspirational, I found it beautiful, and plus I love Jack Black, and I'm just gonna say it. One of the characters was played by Jennifer Hudson, I believe, and she is so hot. So, I know she's playing a panda, but still, I can't knock it. So, that's my number 3.
Alright, my number 3, and this is a tie. It's a Jungle Book and Trolls. Now, Trolls. I enjoy Trolls very much. This was really well done. The Trolls, yes, we're talking about the toys, the ones, you know, with the hair and everything. And now we finally get around to for doing a movie. I really enjoyed this movie a lot because it had good music. It had, first of all, Justin Timberlake and who was that girl in Perfect Pitch? I forget her name. The girl who
Pitch Perfect, you mean?
I can't think of her right now, but she plays Poppy. Justin, he plays Branch. And one day, one of the Bergens eats one of the trolls, and they're happy. So they have this little get-together every year called Trollstice. What's so funny?
It sounds like they're on drugs.
Oh yeah, because the trolls are all colorful and everything.
No, because they're eating something and making them happy.
But eventually, in the end, the premise is that you don't need to be happiness through a drug, as Russell mentioned. You can be happy through happiness of finding true love, and the Bergen girl and the prince do find happiness without having to eat the trolls, and the trolls and the Bergens become friends in the end of the movie. My other third contender spot, Jungle Book. I feel like it was better than the cartoon version.
I agree.
He doesn't like Mowgli in the original one.
Can't stand it.
Idris Elba plays Shere Khan, the tiger. Very well done. Bagheera, played by Sir Ben Kingsley. Very well done. The kid who played Mowgli, he did very well in his debut role. Scarlett Johansson as Kaa, she did a good job. I don't know if the whole Kaa thing, even though she sings the song. And of course, Christopher Walken as King Louie. Oh my god, when he sang that song, yeah, I want to be like you. Oh my god.
And you missed one. Bill Murray as Baloo.
Bill Murray as Baloo. Oh yeah, Baloo. Yeah, Baloo. Bill Murray was excellent as Baloo. Thank you. I appreciate it. Baloo. Oh my god. They did very well in their voice roles, but here's the big aspect of the movie. The animation of these animals was fantastic. Phenomenal. There's no words to describe how well done they were. I believe they're going to be doing a live action of The Lion King. I could see them doing a phenomenal job with that as well. I know it's going to be one movie where it evolves all around animals, but yes, it was phenomenal, and I'm just going to leave it at that. Just see the movie.
So, since he mentioned Christopher Walken as Louie, essentially Christopher Walken does his own take on Louie and it's great.
All right, on to you, Tony, on your number 3.
My number 3 is Deadpool. I really love this movie. Yes, I think Russell mentioned this before, that it got the most generic plot you can ever think of. It's another revenge tale, but they do it in such a good way. They bring a new element to the superhero genre, and that this is almost a parody of a superhero genre. Breaking the fourth wall, I've never seen a superhero movie. Breaking the fourth wall, just the fact that it is a comedy, and Ryan Reynolds is so great at comedy in this movie. It's hilarious. One of my complaints is I don't think they didn't have to make it rated R. I know some people's going to disagree with that. And one of my weaknesses, 80s nostalgia as well. You could tell there's plenty of 80s nostalgia in this movie, with songs, with pop culture references. I was never a big, huge fan of Deadpool in the comics before this, and this kind of made me a fan, and I can't wait for the second one. And it had great action and special effects.
Don't forget about T.J. Miller as
Weasel. He is hilarious.
I love that.
They have great characters too. His roommate, Blind Al, I believe her name is. She was great. His relationship with his girl was great. Colossus and Negasonic Teenage Warhead are great additions, and it's hilarious. So that's my number 3. All right, okay, everybody. For our number 2, we brought in Tyler. So give your number 2, Tyler.
All right, my number 2 is Secret Life of Pets. When I first saw the trailer for Secret Life of Pets, I saw it, and then, like, you know, it made me think of this Garfield comic where John was, like, talking, like, he's like, well, what are my pets doing? I'm not looking, and then they're both watching TV. I thought, how can you make a movie about that? But, I mean, this movie, it completely blew me and my girlfriend away. I mean, I didn't expect them to be making a movie about, like, just pets doing stuff when their parents weren't home, but it's not about that. There's, like, this whole adventure. I mean, all the pets gather at this one place, and then there's this big adventure, and it just goes up from there, and I loved it, and kept me on the edge of my seat. I know Russell didn't like it, and he said it was boring.
It's okay for really little kids.
But like I said, it kept me on the edge of my seat, and it had a plot and good characters, adorable characters that I want plush toys of because I love plush toys. And other than that, it's just a great movie, a good number 2.
Okay, Russell, what's your number 2?
My number 2 is Zootopia. Part of the reason, actually, I liked this over Kung Fu Panda was because this wasn't simply a sequel. This was a brand new start, obviously an entirely new franchise. But what I liked about it was Disney is definitely picking up in terms of trying to update their material, update the stories and everything. I thought they did a fantastic job of bringing in excellent talent like Jennifer Goodwin and Justin Bateman for the roles, as well as, I think, was Idris Elba in this? Yes, he was. I thought the jokes were fantastic. I thought the story was great. Pretty much, I loved everything about the movie. For the fact that I thought it beat out so many movies that I saw through the rest of the year, that is a very impressive feat, and that's called a hustle. Watch the movie, you'll understand. Okay, so go ahead, mister, explain the whole movie to everyone.
Yeah, because Zootopia is my second on the list as well, too. Zootopia was really well done. It was my favorite Disney movie of last year. I liked the animation. I liked how it says you could be anything, because they were so down on Judy becoming a police officer. They said, no, rabbits can't become police officers because of their size. She proved everybody wrong, and she became a police officer, and she went on an investigation with Nick. It was really well done. So there's a twist in the end, but I'm not going to tell you the twist in the end of this movie. See the movie. This was well worth it. On to you, Tony.
My number 2 movie is Doctor Strange. This movie was fantastic. I seriously thought about only making it a tie with my number 1 because it's really that good. And like I said in our review of it, that personally it affected me because that's one of my worst fears is losing the use of my hands. That would be devastating for me. So that touched me on a personal level, and I even teared up. And then the scene where you watch Doctor Strange, where he's trying to practice writing his own name, and he can't even do that correctly. Funny enough, that's probably better than most doctors write their prescriptions out. But speaking of funny, the movie is funny as well as being dramatic, especially the cloak of levitation. I thought that was a hilarious part of the movie. So it's got everything. It's funny, it's got action, it's got drama, the visual effects. If you haven't seen in the theaters, you're really missing out. Frankly, I don't think you can get as good an experience at home. And still at home, I'm sure you would enjoy it because it's just that good of a movie. Are we it's number 1 yet?
Number 1.
Number 1, Tyler, you start first.
Moana. I freaking loved it. I mean, at first, when my girlfriend and I saw it, I didn't really think much of it. I was like thinking in my mind, I was like, Frozen's better. And my girlfriend's like, what? You can't tell me that. But like when I went home and I was just thinking about what she was saying, and then like that made the movie stick in the back of my mind. I was like, wait, I gotta see this again. So I saw it again. And then I saw it a third time with my friends and all the, who was it with Russell and Jay?
Yep.
Yeah, not Tony, unfortunately.
I'm not one of Tyler's friends.
Yeah, you are. Yeah, you are. Yeah, I mean, I recommend anybody to see it if you're a Disney fan, especially if you like musicals. That's the thing. When I had first heard of the movie, I didn't know it was going to be a musical. I thought it was just going to be a straight-out movie, kind of like Zootopia. I'm not bashing Zootopia. That was a good movie, too. But I loved Moana. I wanted to get it on a DVD. And also, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson did great as Maui. And the person who did Moana's voice, I heard this is her first time acting, and she did a fantastic job. I mean, with the emotion and everything. She just nailed it. So yeah, I give Moana an A++.
Russell, what's your number one?
My number one is a tie between two movies, Doctor Strange and Captain America. Thank you, Jay. Captain America: Civil War. I know, folks, that's right. You're thinking to yourself, Doctor Strange is up there with a movie featuring the majority of the Avengers? Yeah, they were both that good. First of all, I knew Civil War was coming as soon as I saw the trailer for Winter Soldier. I said, oh, they're building up Civil War. They were. I know what they did in the comic. They couldn't obviously do on screen everything they did in the comic, but what they could do, they did an incredible job. And as you may recall, in the Age of Ultron review, I wasn't too thrilled with the second Avengers movie. I thought it was just okay. To me, this is Avengers 2. This is what it should have been from day one, and I'm glad we got it. Thank you, Russo brothers. I love you to death. And again, it is tied with Doctor Strange. You already know my thoughts from the review we did. I mean, it blew me away with visuals. The humor was there. The writing was there. Benedict Cumberbatch did a fantastic job. So yeah, those two movies are my number one pick for 2016.
Jay?
Same. It was Avengers 2.5. I'm glad they did this. It was needed. Yeah, it didn't follow the comics exactly, but who's to say that Steve Rogers might not be knocked off later on? We'll see what happens with Infinity War. If you haven't seen the movie, then that spoiler is right there. Someone needs to throw you onto a bed of spikes or something, because you need to see this movie. Same with Doctor Strange. These two movies are like night and day, but in a good way of night and day. Just because one is in the mystic arts, Doctor Strange that is, and the other one's more like your action, fist fighting, non-magical abilities. Just the visuals in both these movies were very well done, and it was very hard for me to pick one above the other. First of all, in my Rogue One review, they couldn't get the CGI right with Tarkin or Leia, but in this movie, they got the CGI very well done with Robert Downey Jr. Only thing I wish that was more in this movie was seeing more of Scott Lang, Ant-Man. But I thought it was really well done. I liked all the characters in that movie for the MCU for the year. So both movies were very well done. Let me talk about Doctor Strange real quickly. Well, actually, Doctor Strange I can keep short and simple because we did a review of that, so you can just see pretty much what I said in that movie. Basically, the visuals were very well done. Everything was very well done in that movie. So I'm just going to not say much about that. Just watch the Doctor Strange review. And moving on to you, Tony.
Okay, so yeah, you guys could probably guess my number one is also Civil War. I don't know what I could say else than what these guys already did say. The only problem I had with it was that I felt that Spider-Man was kind of shoehorned in, but what we got as Spider-Man was really good. I feel that Zemo is now my favorite villain ahead of Loki, and yeah, he's the best villain because he beat them mentally. He couldn't beat them physically, so he beat them mentally, and he actually did beat them. He kind of won. He got exactly what he wanted. He wanted them to fight amongst each other, and that's what he got. And it's amazing that a villain actually won this time, kind of. And that's what makes it good, is heroes are separated, they're divided, exactly.
I will say one more thing. I didn't like how Crossbones was only in the movie for like 2 seconds.
Yes,
and then
I agree with that.
Knocked off. Russell, you could probably agree with that.
Agreed.
Because now how they're going to kill off Captain America if he ends up getting killed off now. But back to you,
But
Tony.
anyways, it just really shakes up the whole MCU, you know. They had to take sides. Another not so good thing is that, you know, Thor and Hulk's not in it, but hopefully we'll see that in Thor Ragnarok. It's an amazing movie. Now, what made it better than Doctor Strange? Because of the villain. He is a much better villain than what Doctor Strange had. This movie, like I said, has everything. It has humor, it has action. Everybody talks about the airport scene, which was amazing. They introduced introduced new characters and they fit well. Like I said, Spider-Man was shoehorned in, but Black Panther fit the plot perfectly. He was part of the story. And I didn't like Black Panther to begin with. I thought he was kind of a jerk, but his arc, the way his character evolved, he won me over at the end. He had very similar motivations as Zemo himself. Zemo shows you what happens when you let revenge consume you, and Black Panther shows you what happens when you don't let revenge consume you. And it's like a night and day, and it was a perfect introduction to that character, perfect villain, almost nearly perfect all the way around. So that's why it's my number one. So any final thoughts? Anybody?
Nothing that I can't bring up in our next video, which will be the worst of 2016.
So see you for that video. I'm Tony Bears. This is
Russ.
Jay.
Tyler.
And we'll see you next time. This video is sponsored by the Crazy Kings of Toys. Check them out for all your toy needs and find out why they are so crazy. Find them on eBay, Bricklink, and Facebook. Links are in the description. For more Toxic Pop, visit our website at toxicpop1.wixsite.com/toxicpop. Email us at toxicpop1@gmail.com. And check us out on Facebook at facebook.com/toxicpop1 and Instagram at instagram.com/wearetoxicpop. Links are in the description.